UndergroundHipHop.com. What's going on? It's VanStylez. I'm here with Boston native, Roxbury native, radio Raheem Jamal. Just dropped an album, of course, part of Electric Company and Project Move. So we'll get started real quick. If you could just run down the history, talk about Electric Company, how that formed, who's in that group.
Oh man, Electric Company is something that it was pretty much the first, break that we had in like the underground hip hop scene. Me, Anonymous, Insight, Dagger, and Mo Pope. Dagger and Insight were doing their thing. Mo Pope definitely was doing his thing out on the West Coast. We hooked up with Insight just by having some freestyle mixtapes. Me and Anonymous, Mike Anonymous, MC, had a couple of mixtapes that we were putting together, like freestyling, just doing foolishness. Wanted to take the tapes, the 4 tracks, and put them on CD. Only person we knew at that time that had that equipment was Insight, so we hooked up with him. He heard it, he liked what he heard, and pretty much all that, like, it's history. He put us on from there. And we've just been making music, since then. We've been doing it underground, like in the basements, just freestyling, doing foolishness for like the better part of half of my life at this point. But right now, it's finally breaking to the, breaking the crust and getting to where people can hear it and appreciate it.
Now, what's basically setting, your debut album apart from the stuff you've done with Project Move and Electric Company? What would you say is the defining factor if we had to break it down?
I would say that the defining factor is that each personality in the group you get a piece of. Like, this is your moment to see what I'm about a little bit more, get an idea what my music is and what really makes me tick, what makes me go. And each one of us, I love working with my peoples, making music, but at the same time, there's nothing like having your own little piece that you can have for the world to present as my own. And the same thing with them, as as just as artists, you kind of want to be able to just do your own thing a little bit sometimes and just reflect what you are, individually. But I'm always Project Move, always Electric, like, regardless.
Now, the thing I did notice about the album, as you do in all your music, it's a reflection of real life and it's a reflection of the struggle and all that. But there wasn't a song where you were really, like, delving into what it is that makes, Raheem Jamal, as you were saying, tick. You know what I'm saying? And really describing where you're coming from. We're in Boston right now, and what led up to all this, because you're not only a rapper, but you're a painter too.
Yeah,
so can you just speak a little bit, on coming up in Boston and what your early life was like and all that?
Well, Boston is a small city, but it's a big city. There's a live underground hip hop scene. There's a lot of people that I've seen do their thing and influence me as an artist. There's a lot of history in the city that kind of ends up being funneled in my psyche, that I feel like we have to represent a certain level of, like, intellectual or kind of like conscious awareness, just because of the world that we live in. We're in Boston. We got Harvard down the street, MIT down the street. We got Northeastern, BC, BU, all these intellectual establishments that, like, we have a lot going on here, and I feel like I have an obligation to my city to try to represent on a higher level. Me as an artist, it's not tough. I mean, it's very tough being in Boston, a black man in Boston, going against the struggle, trying to make sense of everything. And I can't give it all on one album. I give enough so that when maybe when I drop the second album, I'll be like, I still have questions about who he is as a person. What else is there going on? So, I give a little bit. I had an art teacher that used to say, you paint a picture, but don't fill in all the details. Leave something for the people to fill in for themselves and make up for themselves. So I'll leave a little bit from this album so that hopefully in the future I can have a little bit more that you'll be looking out.